this is across the street from Joaquin Miller Park, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You turn as if you're going to the fire station, and then it's just right next to it.
Okay.
I don't know. Oh,
All right.
look, I could be not remembering properly.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get started then. Everybody on their feet.
Do we see if people are in the waiting room?
Yeah, I'm just gonna
Yep.
double check.
Okay. And then let's mute everybody but me. And there's actually something in the chat here. Who's chatting? Oh, can we record this one? So Justin, that's up to you. You can record. It says it's recording.
Yeah,
All right.
I started it recording.
All right, excellent. Okay, everybody on their feet. Let's start feet hip distance apart and parallel. Squeeze the glutes, pull that core down and in, wrap those back muscles down, around, and in towards your tailbone. Put your hands on your thighs, and we're going to inhale and raise the hands up in front of us. Inhaling all the way up to the top. When we get to the top, we're going to exhale and bring those hands out wide in a great big snow angel, nice and slow. Keep those palms facing forward so you can pull those shoulders down your back, exhaling all the way down to the bottom, and then inhaling all the way back up. Make sure you're keeping the glutes active, the core active. We're going to exhale back down again. Reach those fingers out wide so you're stretching the arms out of the shoulder sockets as you're doing this. Inhaling up, bring the hands together and bank over to your right. Shift that weight to your left foot. Let your eyes drift down towards the floor. Exhaling. And inhale up. And exhale down and back over to your left. Shift that weight to your right foot. Eyes drift down towards the floor. And inhale up. And exhale down and back over to the right. Shift the weight to the left foot. Give that left wrist just a little gentle tug as you exhale all of that air out of your lungs. And then we'll inhale up and exhale down, back to the left, emptying out the lungs, shifting the weight to the right foot, giving that right foot just a little bit of a tug with the left hand. And come on up to the top, drop your hands, and we'll do trunk rotations. You're trying to get 90 degrees out of each shoulder. So shoulder forward, shoulder back, or 180 degrees total. One arm goes in front, one arm goes behind. But you're driving this with your shoulders and you're keeping your eyes straight ahead. And the reason we do this is to get that separation between our head and our body that we're going to need on the bike. I got to go out and ride today with Coach Dara, and we did Cinderella and Castle, and boy, you really needed to have your head on a swivel. And that's what this is. This is putting your head on a swivel. It's having your head be suspended from your body so that your eyes don't jerk around. You're able to look down trail and see that somebody who started 2 minutes ahead of you down the trail has crashed and needs help. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to go from here straight into marching in place. Arms move opposite the legs. You want to bring those legs up nice and high. You want to keep that foot in line with your plant leg. So you bring the foot up, it stays in line with the plant leg. You don't have to go fast. You can go slow. You can go fast if you want, but you want to be mindful of your form. You want to put those feet up and put them right back down in the same spot each time. You want to push the floor away each time you put that foot down. You want to have the knees tracking straight up and straight down. So no knees out to the side, no knees across the middle, but just straight up and down. Those arms going. So for the arms, make sure you're pivoting in the shoulder. You want to work the shoulder joint here, opposite. So one shoulder and then the other. We're trying to get those shoulders to open up, trying to get the chest to open up as well. Get the back active. 3, 2, and 1. And come on out of there. Now let's go ahead and do our big arm circles next. So we're staying in that hip distance apart, tall standing body. This is actually called tall standing body. That's the name of this pose. We're going to squat down just a little bit. Take our left hand from behind our left knee, scooping forward, grabbing a handful of air, throwing that handful of air over the back of the shoulder, and then reaching back behind us to grab another handful of air. Your arm rotates in the shoulder socket just after it passes the ear when we're going in this direction. And you should be able to rotate the shoulder 180 degrees. So you're going from palm facing backwards, or palm facing up, to palm facing down is a better way to put it. All right. You're going to pay attention to how you're squatting. So make sure that those knees come right over the middle couple of toes and the hips go back. Nice and lazy. Big arm circles. Last one this direction. We'll stop in front, turning the palm down. We scoot backwards and come right up over the top. In this direction, the arm rotates behind, right after it passes behind the hip. You come right straight over the top. Make sure you're coming all the way up into a tall standing body. You can work on your breathing with this as well. You can inhale as you come up and exhale as you come down into the squat. And last one. All right, shake that left arm out. Let's go over to the right side. Scooping again from behind the knee forward, tossing a handful of air back over the shoulder. Arm rotating just after it passes the ear. And of course, we rotate our trunk to reach back. So we're getting the whole body going here. We got that little squat going. We're working the trunk, we're working the arm. You can even work the opposite arm a little bit to help propel that trunk rotation. And of course, we're inhaling, exhaling, working on that breathing, drawing that diaphragm down into our core, that cylinder muscle we're creating below our rib cage. Last one this direction, turn the hand around and come up over the top. And up and over. And 3, 2, 1. All right, shake it out. Next up is called wall stretch. In the wall stretch, we're going to bring our hands up into a big Y, reaching up high, and then we're going to push the backs of our hands into the wall behind us. It's an imaginary wall. Just stay with me here. All right? Push your hands back into the wall and pull your hands down the wall until you bring your arms into a W shape. So you're reaching up high, you're exhaling as you reach high, you're inhaling as you reach high, you're exhaling as you pull those arms down into your W. So Y to W. You're pulling the hands back as if you've got a wall behind you that you're trying to put your hands back into. Your elbows are going nice and wide. Your hands literally are just going straight up and down at shoulder width. What we're doing here is we're activating those shoulder muscles and we're stretching the chest, because what's next is our step forward lunge with YTAs. So we're ready? Step forward lunge with YTAs. We start with the palms together, arms extended out parallel to the floor. Reach out of that shoulder socket. So you're reaching out. That way when you pull back into your Y, your T, and your A, you're pulling those shoulder muscles as far as they're supposed to go, their full range of motion. Get those shoulders nice and strong. That's going to help you when you're on the bike. All right, you ready? We're going to add to that a step forward lunge. We're doing 4 sets on the right leg, 4 sets on the left leg. You ready? Right leg first, and let's go. T and A. Push back hard through your heel as you come back. So you don't have to go deep into these lunges, but you do want to have the forward knee tracking right over the shoelaces and the back knee behind the hip. T and A. We're going to switch sides here. So left leg now. Y, T, and A. Don't just throw your arms out wide, but really pull them back and open so that you're getting those shoulders nice and active. Again, we're paying attention to our lunge. Keeping the knee over the shoelaces in the front, back knee over, drop behind the hip. Last one's right here, Y, T, and A. All right, come up out of that. And last of all, we're going to do our lateral lunges. So let's go ahead and we're going to step out into a really wide stance here. So you're at least twice hip distance, twice hip width apart. Feet are parallel. And I mean the middle two toes, not your big toes. If your big toes are parallel, your feet are turned out. And we're just going to push ourselves over to one side so that you can line up. And you're going to have the hip, the knee, and the foot all tracking in a nice straight line. Shoulders are square, hips are square. Then we're going to push from this side all the way over. I'm pushing until I'm completely straight-legged here, and then I push back. So push and push. Keep the feet parallel. You want to push through the heel all the way out. So you want to push all the way until that leg is completely straight. And then you want to push a little bit more before you push back the other direction. So what we're doing here is we're working the knee, the hip, the thigh, the glutes, the calves, the ankle. And we're doing some nice stretching of that inside thigh as we come over. This gets the ankle going. This gets the knees lubed up, gets the hips lubed up. We want to keep that waistline parallel to the floor, shoulders parallel to the floor the whole time. So you're just sliding back and forth and sliding back and forth. Okay, bring your feet together. And now we're going to do the same move, but we're going to step out and then step over. So we stop for just a moment in the middle, just a little pause in the middle in tall standing body. We're going to come back to that a lot. And then we step out to the other side. So make sure whenever you're doing a lunge like this, that the hips go back behind your heels, knees track again over the shoelaces, over at least towards the middle two toes. Keep that waistline parallel. Keep these hips parallel too. So what I mean by that is if I had a rod in front of me here, that rod, I could just be sliding down the rod, keeping my hips on that rod the whole time. We don't want to have a rotation in our trunk here. And last one right there. And come on up, water break. I should have poured myself a bigger glass of water. All right. So first, we got 6 exercises today. Basically the same 6 as last week. So come on down to the floor. First exercise is push-up planks with shoulder taps. So in sideline position, we're going to be up here, long plank, and then it's shoulder tap, knee across to the opposite elbow, and knee to the opposite elbow. If you can't hold a plank fully extended because you've got elbow or shoulder or hand, wrist issues, you can do this same exercise here, and it's going to be shoulder tap, it's going to be a hand tap in front, and then knee to the same side elbow. Keep the hips in line. Okay, so let me see everybody up. Everybody's up. All right, good. 45 seconds starts now. Shoulder tap, knee to opposite elbow, knee to opposite elbow. So keep control, nice and slow. We want to own this movement here. So we're going nice and slow. We're not rushing through it. We're taking our time. We're learning how to balance and control our body. Imagine, if you will, a foot comes off the pedal, foot comes up, or hand comes off the handlebar. You want to be able to control that. 10 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down and rest. So next up, we're going to come back into a push-up plank position. We're going to do rotating side planks. If you want, you can throw a push-up in the middle. The full version is up here, rotate, side, push-up, rotate to the side plank. Keep your feet hip distance apart and parallel. And that way when you roll over, I'll turn around, watch my feet, hip distance apart, rotate. See how they go onto their sides and then rotate onto their sides. Makes it a lot easier and safer for you to do this. If you try stacking the feet, you can actually create an injury in your knee. All right? If you have the shoulder issues, cross your arms in front of yourself on your elbows and do your side planks this way. Everybody up. Everybody up. I don't start the clock till everybody's up. Okay, let's go. 45 seconds. Push-ups in the middle are optional, but recommended. Also, with any sort of front planking maneuver, anytime we're doing something like this, it's a front plank or a push-up or anything like that. If this is just too much for your body to handle, raise your front body up. So put your arms, your hands on a coffee table or the couch and do it from there. Put your mat up on the coffee table. 3, 2, 1, and come on down. Take a child's pose to rest. Okay, what do I got next? That's what I thought. Okay, we're going to go to our mini bands next. We're going to be doing our seated rows. This is a whole series. You're going to want a medium or light band. We're not going heavies yet. We'll get there. So we're going to be in a seated position, nice and tall. So we're right on those sit bones. If you need your knees bent a little bit to be on your sit bones, that's fine. Band goes over both feet. Feet are hip distance apart and parallel. So we're sitting nice and tall. We are going to start, let's see, what do I have there? Okay, we're going to do a two-handed row and then a single-handed row. So palms are down. We want to pull that band apart in the middle so that our hands are as wide as our knees. Anytime we are pulling, we initiate that pull with the shoulder first. So here we are pulling, and we're going to pull right into the bottom of our rib cage. We ready? We got 12, two hands on the band, 2 hands on the band. We ready? And two-handed rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sit up nice and tall. 5, 6. Initiate the pull from the shoulders. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now, single arm row. With the single arm row, the palm starts down and then rotates so the palm is facing the rib cage. We'll start with left hand first, and let's go. 1, 2. We're doing 12. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And other side, palm facing down, and get that little rotation there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, sit up nice and tall. 5, 6, 7. Draw that belly button in. 8. Push those sit bones into the floor. 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, come on up to standing. The band is going to be underneath your feet, wrapped around your feet, kind of. And we're going to do our Rdls. That's the Romanian deadlift. That's a bent knee hip hinge. So feet are going to be hip distance apart and parallel. So we bend the knees, the hips go back, shins stay perpendicular to the floor. And we're going to come all the way down. Nice flat back, shoulders pulled down our back, grabbing the band. Again, pulling the band apart so that we're knee width apart with our hands. And then we stand up all the way tall, squeezing the glutes, coming all the way up to the top. The arms are straight. We're not pulling with the arms. We're pushing, pulling with the legs. You ready? So start all the way down at the bottom. Grab your band. And let's do 12 here. So all the way up. 1, 2. Really squeeze the glutes when you get to the top. 3. Knees and hips come straight. 4. At exactly the same time. 5, 6, 7. Make sure those butts are going way back. 8. More butt back. Look how far back mine goes. 9, 10. Yeah, I mean, you're saying, well, Coach Tom, you have a big butt. But no, seriously. Butt back. And there's 12 right there. All right. Step into your band. Bring it up above your knees, which means put your whole leg, both legs together, foot to thigh together. So knees together, feet together, thighs together. Bring that band up above your knees. And then step out into a slightly wider than hip distance stance. Push those knees actively into the band. So your knees are tracking right over your shoelaces here. All right. We're going to do body weight squats. If you want, you can always grab a water bottle to add just a little bit of weight or a small weight. Where we're going to sink down and we're coming down. We're pushing the knees out into the band, knees forward over our middle two toes and butt back down into our squat, extending that tailbone out, pulling the shoulders down the back. That's the bottom, and here's the top. And we want to push again, knees, hips come straight at the same time. We ready? Now let's just go ahead and do 12. 1, 2, nice and slow. 3, push those knees forward. 4, 5, 6, 7, push those knees out into the band as well. 8, keep pushing out into the band. 9, make sure you come all the way up tall. 10, all the way up tall. 11, squeeze those hips. And 12. So you want to squeeze those glutes, push those hips forward. All right, keeping the band above the knees, come on down to the floor, and we're going to do glute bridges. We're going to do them slightly differently this week. We did the curling glute bridges last week. We're going to do a glute bridge straight up as the body is one unit. We're going to open up into a clam shell and then come back and down. Knees never get closer than hip distance apart. So there's going to be constant tension in that band. Feet are hip width apart. Our heels are going to be within a hand span of our glutes. Just reach your hands down there as far as you can and just touch the backs of the heels of your shoes. Again, pushing the knees out, put the palms on the floor, dig your elbows in. Don't dig your head in. Don't do that. And now let's go up as one unit and open up into a clamshell, back together, and down as one unit. There's 1, and up, and out, and back. 2, you want your whole back, all of the vertebrae. 3, to leave and come back down to the floor at the same time and have all of those vertebrae touching. 5, there's number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And come on down and take the band off and then take a quick sip of water. That's set 1, 2 more to go. Definitely should have brought more water. Okay. Band aside and into our push-up plank position. Actually, I'm going to give you 30 more seconds rest. We're going to start out push-up plank position, shoulder taps, knee to opposite elbow, 45 seconds. Go excruciatingly slow. And we start in 15 seconds. Okay, let's see everybody up in their plank. Got planks from everybody? Let me see everyone. Okay, we ready? 45 seconds starts now. Shoulder tap, knee to opposite elbow, knee to opposite elbow. Extend your tailbone as you're doing this down towards your long legs. So when you got those legs extended, you're extending your tailbone down that same line. Pull your Kegel muscles, those are the ones between your sit bones, up towards your belly button. Draw your ab muscles down and in towards your belly button. And then draw your diaphragm, that's what's going to help you breathe, down into that cylinder you've created, down towards your Kegel muscles, down towards your sit bones, into your belly. You can breathe a lot more air that way than trying to expand your rib cage. And come on down. Take a quick child's pose to rest. There's a lot more room below these ribs for you to expand your lungs than trying to expand here. There's not a lot of room for your ribs to expand. They're here to protect, not expand, not move. This is room to move. So we want to make sure we breathe down in here. We also want to make sure that we're keeping these muscles nice and solid. All right, back into our front plank position. Everybody up. And rotating side planks with a push-up in between if you'd like. Let's go, 45 seconds. Don't forget to breathe. Make sure you're keeping a nice solid plank the whole time. So don't let your hips sag or wander while you're rotating or doing the push-up or in your side plank. So no hips back, no hips forward, no hips up, no hips down. Everything's in a nice straight line from your head through your heels the whole time. Almost there. 10 seconds to go. Three, two, one, and done. And we'll grab our band and we'll come into our long seated position here. So feet extended out nice and straight. We're sitting up tall on our sit bones, band over both feet. Feet are hip distance apart, parallel, toes pointing straight up at the sky. It is important to do this. Doesn't seem like much, but it's important. Huckleberry, toes pointing straight up at the sky. Good dog. All right, palms down. Pull the band apart so your hands are hip width apart or shoulder width apart. And we row straight in, both hands right into that rib cage. And here we go. 1, 2, sit up nice and tall. 3, elbows go out really wide when we're rowing like this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Remove the left hand. Right hand only, pulling right into the side. 1, 2, 3. Remember, we initiate all pulls. 4, from the shoulder first. 5, 6, 7. Stay seated up, sitting up nice and tall. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Switching hands, and let's go. Other hand. 1, 2, 3. Don't rotate your trunk. 4, keep your trunk nice and solid. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, stand up and set yourself up for Rdls. So band over both feet. And we start with the band down there. We're going to reach down and grab it to start. So feet hip distance apart and parallel. We hinge the hips, we bend the knees, shins stay perpendicular, back is nice and flat and straight. Those hips go back, extend the tailbone out nice and long. Then you grab the band, pulling your hands apart so that you're hip width apart with the hands. And let's go. 1, 2, 3. Really thrust those hips forward. 4 at the top by squeezing your glutes. 5, 6. That's it. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Who went to 12? The heck with 11. Step into your band and bring it up above your knees. So legs together. Notice legs are completely together. One thing we definitely want to avoid is having our feet wide and then letting the knees just collapse in. The movement pattern of having the knees collapse in makes these muscles here overactive and tight. These muscles here underactive and weak. These muscles out here overactive and tight, which then puts strain on the knee. We don't want that. Also can put strain on your ankles. So pushing out, keeping your feet, this helps keep your arches nice and tall. Squeeze the glutes together. All right, bring our hands up here if you want. You can hold a weight up here. And we're going to sit back in our chair. So sit back in your chair, knees are tracking forward and out, hips back. And let's go. 1, 2, 3. Keep those knees out. 4, 5. More knees out to the side. 6. So I see a couple of you are coming up. 7 and losing the knees out when you get to the top. So keep pushing the knees out at the top. Your feet should be parallel, so your knees shouldn't be coming really wide. They should just be coming over your shoelaces. And 8, 9, now let's go with 9, 10, 11, and 12. I have no idea how many that actually was. All right, come on down to the floor. And glute bridges, 2 a clamshell at the top. I'm going to turn this way just in case you guys couldn't see what I was doing before. So I'm all set up. Feet are hip distance apart and parallel. Knees pushing out into the band. Palms on the floor. It's up, clamshell, and back. Notice the knees never come closer than hip distance apart, so there's always tension in that band. Okay, we ready? And we're doing 12. I think everybody's there. Yeah, everybody's there. Good. Let's go. 12. 1. And down. The whole spine is one unit in this one. 2 and 3. You want to make sure that you have the whole spine touching the floor at the bottom. And 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Keep those hips parallel to the floor. And 12. All right, come on up. Take the band off. Grab a drink of water. One more set. Okay. Pay attention. There can be a couple of small changes for the third set. But I'm going to give you another 30 seconds rest here. We're going to start in a push-up plank position. And we've got our shoulder taps and knee to opposite elbow for 45 seconds. So get that heart rate back down. For those of you who might remember this from prior year spin classes, forceful exhalation. So breathing, drawing that diaphragm, drawing the belly in and squeezing the lungs out of air out of your lungs like you're rolling up the bottom of a tube of toothpaste to squeeze all the toothpaste out. That sort of exhale will bring your heart rate down fast. All right, everybody up into a plank position. Let's see that front plank, push-up plank position from everyone. Okay, we ready? And let's go. 45 seconds of shoulder tap and knee to opposite elbow. Excruciatingly slow. You want to own this. This is your move. It's your body. You know how it moves. You've got control of it. Just think of how this comes in handy when you're going to start doing those big jumps over at the pump track and you got to do a can-can. Look it up. It's a cool move. I don't actually suggest anybody try it. Certainly not on team time, but it is a cool move. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And come on down. Take a child's pose to rest. Okay, next up, back into the front plank position. We're going to do our rotating side planks, throw a push-up in the middle if you can, if you want. Your back and your shoulders will thank you later. They may also hate you later and then thank you after they hate you. But having strong musculature up here helps prevent shoulder injuries. And so we want to do that. So everybody up. Let's see those planks. Drop some hips. I see some hips, so they're getting hiked up. Drop those hips in line with your head and heels. And here we go. 45 seconds. Rotating side plank with a push-up in the middle if you so desire. And I suggest you should desire it. Make sure if you're doing the push-up, you come all the way down, touch that nose to the floor, and come all the way back up again. 3, 2, 1, and come on down. And we're coming to our resistance band again. Slightly different this time. We're going to start with the single arm row, and then we're going to progress to a wood chopper. So single armed row, both feet in the band. Left hand on the band, palm facing down, arm extended. We pull first with the shoulder, then the elbow and wrist, and hand follow all the way to the side of the rib cage. Now let's do 12. 1, 2, make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. 3, 4, 5, pull with that shoulder first. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Other side, palm down, other hand, and let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Take your right foot out, spread your legs out into a big old V. You want to go as wide as you can go and still have these toes pointing straight up at the ground. I could go wider, but if I go wider, I'm rolling my hips out and my toes are going to go like that, and that actually takes away some of the tension that I need to have in strengthen my hips to do this exercise. So we're going to reach across the body, palms up grip with the right hand. So right hand is facing the ceiling, top hand, that left hand comes over the top, pointing down. We're going to then pull, do that same rotation. We're going to add into it a trunk rotation. So I'm facing my left foot. I'm going to rotate and face my right foot as I'm pulling. We ready? And 12 on this side. 1, 2, make sure you're getting a good rotation in. 3, 4, because now we're working those oblique muscles. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. This is mostly a pulling motion with the opposite hand. So as I reach across the body with my left hand, palms up grip, right hand comes over the top of my palms down grip. I'm pulling with this shoulder first, and I'm primarily working my left arm. So you ready? And 1, 2, and my trunk. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Imagine you're going down switchbacks. 8, 9, 10, and you got that belly button flashlight. 11 and 12, turning from here to here. So you're shining your belly button flashlight here, and you're shining your belly button flashlight there so that you can execute your turn. All right, come on up to standing. Rdls. Last set of Rdls. So feet, both feet in the band. Feet are hip distance apart, parallel. Let the band be down on your feet to start. I do like that I see a couple of you are doing this barefoot. I like this because this is a good exercise set to do barefoot. So I like that, and that actually gets your feet in contact with the floor and works for strong arches and strong feet and strong calves. Okay, we ready? Bending the knees, hips go back. Let's get that back parallel to the floor, extending the tailbone out straight, pulling the shoulders down your back, grabbing your band, pulling the hands apart so that they stay shoulder width apart, and extending up, tall, knees and hips come straight into full extension at the same time. Both sides, don't wander, don't waddle side to side. 1, 2, 3, squeeze those glutes to the top. 4, 5, bring your hips all the way forward by squeezing the glutes. 6, 7, 8, pull those knees all the way straight. 9, 10, and by that I mean 11 and 12. Your quads are hip extensors. They pull your knees straight. So you want your quads active. You're going to feel that in the quads, the hamstrings, and the glutes. Let's bring that band all the way up now, up to our knees. And it's bodyweight squats with bands. So stepping out, we are at least hip width apart. Actually, it should be a little bit wider. I'd say 1.5 hip widths apart. Middle 2 toes are parallel, or the inside toes are parallel. The big toes are parallel. If your big toes are parallel, your feet are actually out turned a little bit. We don't want to be out here, and I see a couple of you are out here in this 45-degree plie. We are not doing ballet here because I don't know how to teach it, and so we're not doing that. We're just doing a nice, normal chair squat. You can actually do this with a chair or a ball behind you and just put your butt on the chair and come right back up again. That totally works. But make sure that those knees are pressing out into the band. So I see a couple of knees that are like this. That's no good. Push those knees out. If you don't think it's you, it probably is. Push those knees out. We ready? Got that weight up here if you want to have it. And let's go. 1, 2. Push those knees out the whole time. Also push them forward over the toes. 3, 4. I know I skipped one, but that's okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Keep the elbows in tight. 10, 11. Elbows in tight. And 12. There we go. And come on up. Or actually, come on down. Come on down. Down to the floor. So for this set, we're going to set up our back bridge. And then we're going to extend our left leg all the way out, pulling the toes towards the nose, pushing the heel away. You got a straight leg, and it's hovering about an inch off the floor. Right heel is right where it's supposed to be. That foot's pointing straight ahead. Knee is tracking right over that foot. And I'm going to drive the heel of that right foot in using my right glute, keeping my waistline parallel, and boom, up into the single leg back bridge or glute bridge and back down. So we're ready? Don't swing the leg. Just let it come up naturally. We ready? And let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really dig those elbows in. 6, 7. Don't swing the leg. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And as a surprise to absolutely none of you, we're switching legs. So extend that right leg all the way out, pull the toes towards the nose, push the heel away, nice straight leg, hovering an inch off the floor. Left heel is a handspan from our glutes. Palms on the floor, elbows dug in, and let's go. 12 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And come on down, take the band off. Last water break. Actually, yeah, take the band off. That's what we're doing next. Okay. Woo. We can put the band back on when we do our clam shells. But we got one more exercise before clams. One drop of water left in the glass. Did not time that well. Okay, next up is boat pose. So we're going to get right into boat pose, and we'll do clam shells, and we'll do a little bit of stretching. So boat pose, feet are hip width apart. Knees are slightly more open than 90 degrees. We're going to put our hands on the outside of our knees, pushing in. We're going to push those knees out into our hands, just like if we've got the band there. We want to maintain control of those legs, so we're using these outside leg muscles here. We're going to draw the belly button in, keep those hands there, and we come back, and we're going to come all the way up until we can get those shins parallel to the floor. So let's see everybody up. Shins parallel to the floor. Extend those feet out. Let's see a couple of you that have your legs way up high. Extend them out. Extend those legs out. There we go. So we're going to hold this here for the next 45 seconds. But Tom, this is too easy. Okay, extend one leg. That's harder. Extend both legs until they're straight. Point the toes away. That's still too easy. Extend those arms all the way out. We're at half a banana roll. This is half of a banana roll. It's also called hollow body hold at this point. It's not boat pose, it's hollow body hold. So we're here, we're holding hollow body hold, and we got 10 seconds to go. This is the hardest version of this, unless you wanted to throw in dead bugs. Sleep till Brooklyn. 3, 2, 1. And now use your core muscles and rock yourself back up to a seated position. Take your band and bring it back up above your knees. So make sure legs are squeezed together to bring it up above the knees. And come on into a sideline position. So on our sides, line yourself up with your heels, hips, and head all on the back edge of your mat. Knees are going to be bent 90 degrees. Toes are flexed up. And we want to bring that top hip just slightly forward to the bottom hip. So they're stacked where they're right on top of each other. And then we're just going to, just a little tiny roll to bring that top hip maybe an inch forward. In that position now, put your hand right here on top of your hip. Don't let that hip roll open. So if that means you can only move your legs apart this far, that's fine. That's going to give you better activation of those glute muscles than not. So feet stay together, the knees come up, and let's do 12 clam shells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Knee together and the foot comes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And the whole leg up in fire hydrant. 1, 2. Keep that lower leg. 3, 4. Parallel to the floor. 5, 6. Same thing here. If you start feeling that hip roll, you're going too high. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. On 12, the leg stays high. You rotate down and kiss the knees together. Come back high and kiss the toes together. There's 1. Knees and toes. 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, keep those hips stacked. 6. So go to a lesser range of motion. 7 if you need to. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And now extend that leg all the way out. Push the heel away. Pull the toes towards your nose. Nice straight line. Head through heels. Draw little circles with that heel as you push the heel away. Have your leg parallel to the floor and push back into your band the whole time. Keep the inside edge of your foot parallel to the floor. And let's go the other direction now. So keep pushing away with the heel, pulling the toes towards the nose. And all the movement is in the hip, in that top hip. 3, 2, 1. And come on down. And understand that those circles are the hardest part of that exercise. And it is quite all right if they aren't actual circles, if circles are an aspirational thing. All right, we can aspire to do circles. So line yourself up, back edge of your mat, head, hips, heels, all lined up on the back edge of your mat, knees at 90 degrees, feet together, toes flexed up, and we bring that top hip just forward to the bottom hip, hand on the hip to maintain that, and we're going to keep the feet together, knees apart, 12 clam shells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Knees together and the foot comes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now fire hydrants, the whole leg comes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Leg stays high. Rotate down and kiss the knees. Come back high and kiss the toes. Remember, once again, we are maintaining that hip. So don't let that hip roll out. So keep a lesser range of motion if you need to. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And we extend the leg all the way out. Push the heel away. Pull the toes to the nose. Nice straight leg here. Nice straight line. Head through heels as you draw little circles with the heel. Pushing away. Make sure that the leg is parallel to the floor and you are pushing backwards into the band. Even as your leg comes forward at the bottom or top of your circle, you're still pushing back into the band. That really should light up the back of your leg pretty good. All of those muscles. And let's go the other direction now. So you should be feeling this in your glutes and in your hamstrings primarily. It should not be in your back. If you feel like it's getting in your back, it's because you're not pushing your heel away hard enough. So really push that heel out and come on down. Woo! Let's take the band off and let's do a little bit of stretching. We're going to start off in a kneeling tall body position. This is like standing tall body, except we're on our knees. It means knees are hip distance apart and parallel. Feet are hip distance apart and parallel and behind us. And you're going to want the tops of your feet on the floor. Glutes are active, core is active, shoulders are pulled down the back. And we're going to start with our right leg first. And we're going to bring that right leg straight forward, right over the top of all 5 toes into a lunge. So no cheating and bringing the leg to the outside. Come straight over. You want to really be in your tall body when you do this, not leaning forward with your hands on the floor in quadruped. All right. Knee tracking right over the shoelaces, right over that top bow of my shoelaces. Back knee is both a hip width apart and behind my hip. Glutes are active, so squeeze those butt cheeks together. Activate your right hamstring. Bring your hands to your right thigh just above the knee. You're going to press down and away. You're going to use that tension to pull your shoulders down your back, tuck your chin in. So you're in a really nice tall posture here. Super tall posture here. So you're getting a nice stretch all along the front of that hip. Let's go ahead and put our palm in front of our left hip, right hand, palm down, fingers spread, eyes in the back of the hand, and press up to the ceiling. Press that ceiling away. Draw little circles on the ceiling. First one direction, and then the other direction. And then press that palm out again, and all the way down, that great big arc, all the way back. Eyes are still on the back of the hand as it comes all the way down. All right, find your tall position here, nice and balanced. Bring the right leg straight back, right over the toes. Left leg straight forward. All right. Keeping hip width here. Back knee is behind the hip. That back knee isn't behind the hip. You're not getting a hip flexor stretch because your hip isn't extended. So we want to have that knee behind so we get an extension out of the hip. Active hamstring, active glutes. Tailbone's extended right down towards the floor. Pull those shoulders down the back, press those hands down and away. And let's lean into our hip flexor stretch here. Tuck the chin in. It should feel like a really good, solid, strong posture here. So you should feel pretty balanced in this position because muscles are really solid here. All right, right hand in front of the right hip, palm to the floor, fingers are spread wide, eyes on the back of the hand. Press the hand forward up into that great big arc all the way to the ceiling, and then draw little circles on the ceiling. My suggestion is when you're drawing little circles is to defocus your eyes or focus on the ceiling, and we'll go the other direction rather than watching your head go around and around and make you dizzy. And pressing out and away, we're going to bring the hand back down. Bring that right hand all the way back down to the right hip. Find your balance point. Bring that left foot straight back. Feet go together now. Spread those knees nice and wide as you can. And sink back onto your heels. So we're doing a couple things here. If we sink back on our heels and our top of our foot's on the floor, we're stretching the top of the ankle there. This is called plantar flexion. We're extending that. That comes in handy when you're pedaling. That's if you bring your toe down, say you're jumping and you want to have toes down and then heels down to do a jump or to pump through the pump track. That's key there. We're stretching the inside of the thighs here. And like I said, those tend to get over tight, especially when the knees start to collapse in. So we're stretching there, we're stretching across the top of the knee. Now, walk your hands forward, bring your hips with them, keep your feet behind you, and come into a frog pose. Press your feet together in frog pose. Those knees are out wide. Extend your tailbone down towards your toes. Squeeze those glutes together and keep those arms extended, pulling the shoulders down your back. And what you're doing here is you're extending that spine out, but we're getting a really nice stretch in between the thighs. So we're getting into those groin muscles, again, even more so than when we were seated back on our heels. But we're also getting into the hip flexors here. And we're just going to hold this for just a little bit longer. All right, we ready? Press the palms into the floor and push those hips all the way back to the heels, and then come on down onto your elbows. This is child's pose. So the knees are wide, which allows our sacrum to drop in between our hips, drop in between the pelvis. In this position, if you breathe deep enough that you can feel your Kegel muscles being activated, you should also feel your sacrum rise and fall. Your sacrum is that diamond-shaped piece of your body that contains your lower spine, below your lumbar, your sacral spine. That includes your tailbone. And there's a joint on either side of that that should be able to go up and down, up with the inhale, down with the exhale. Okay, hands under shoulders, press yourself up, bring the knees in, feet out, And let's come into a quadruped position. So quadruped is hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And we're going to tuck the toes under and press ourselves up into a downward facing dog. So in downward facing dog, we're actively pushing our hands into the floor. So those elbows are locked out tight, and we're pushing so far out of our shoulders that we can actually rotate like we're screwing our hands into the floor. We're going to walk each heel up and down one at a time, one and then the other. So we're getting a nice stretch out of the calf there, stretch out of the heel, stretch out of the bottom of the foot, the arch of the foot, the plantar fascia, the plantar arch. Just let your head drop. Okay, press both heels into the floor. Lift your right leg up, just using the right glute. Bring it under your body. Bend it 90 degrees and come on down onto that right leg. Slide your left leg back. You are in pigeon pose or a figure four. Start tall. Start with those arms extended. Okay, actively, by the way, pull your, if you feel like you're getting strain in the knee of that right knee, pull the right toe towards the knee. That'll also help if you have an arch cramp. So from here, we're going to check in with our body. Is the tailbone extended down towards my long leg? Check. Are my hips parallel to the floor? Yes, they are. I got my shoulders pulled down my back, a nice straight spine, not craning my neck up. Yep. Come on down to the elbows. Same rules apply. Tailbone extended down towards that long leg? Yes. Hips are still parallel to the floor? Yes, they are. Got my shoulders pulled down my back, long spine? Yes. Walk those elbows out. Try and bring your forehead all the way to the floor. Again, this is a pose where if you're breathing deep, you can feel that sacrum rise and fall. The other thing you want to do is on each exhale, try and get that glute to relax. Big, deep belly breaths. Try and feel that sacrum. So you're breathing all the way down below your waistline. Next exhale, you bring your hands underneath the shoulders. Unpretzel the right leg. Tuck the left toe under. Walk yourself back up into your downward facing dog. From here, we lift the left leg up using the left glute. Bring it underneath. Bend it 90 degrees. We come on down to the floor. We slide the top of that right foot all the way back. And we start in our tall position here with the arms extended. Up, up high. Checking in. Tailbone extended down towards my toes. Check. Hips parallel to the floor. Yes. Shoulders pulled down my back. Neutral spine. Chin tucked in. Yup. Down to my elbows. So again, checking in, breathing deep, relaxing, trying to get my left glute to release. Get it relaxed. Checking in with my spine. Everything's A-okay. Walk the elbows out. Bring the forehead down to the floor. So you're probably asking, why am I making us do this in steps? If your tailbone is tucked under, you're not getting a glute stretch. If your low back is arched, not only are you not getting a glute stretch, you're putting pressure on your low back that shouldn't be there. If shoulder blades aren't pulled down your back, you're putting pressure on your neck. Doesn't need to be there either. So we want to make sure we've got all that straight before we try and get into this deep glute stretch. Big inhale. On the next exhale, bring those hands back underneath you. Tuck the toe under, unpretzeling the left leg, walking back up into your downward facing dog. And from here, walk your hands back to your toes, and we're going to hang in a hamstring stretch. Let your head and shoulders be heavy and drop towards the floor. And normally, if this was a hip hinge, I'd be cueing you to pull your shoulders down your back and keep a neutral spine. But because we're stretching and we're relaxing, we're going to let the head and shoulders go. Don't tuck the tailbone under, though. Keep that tailbone kind of extended so that we are protecting the low back with that tailbone. It also helps put a little more stretch into this hamstring. All right, big deep breath in, which will raise your sacrum. On the exhale, which will drop your sacrum. You're going to push your heels into the floor. You're going to use your calves, your hamstrings, and your glutes, and you're going to pull yourself up to a nice, tall, standing body. One last thing, palms out, palms forward, arms out into a T. And we're just going to drop the arms, big arm swings, up to a T, up to a Y, and then all the way up. Great big windmills, super lazy. You're only putting enough energy into this windmill to barely get those arms up over the top. Stopping at the top, we'll go the other direction. Big and lazy, other direction with the arm swings. 3, 2, and 1. And that is it for today, guys. So as I say each week, please, 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 please do either this workout or one of your own on your own at least once between now and next Tuesday, preferably twice. All right, you really want to be doing this kind of work off the bike to enhance how you feel on the bike. And you should feel stronger on the bike. You should feel it up here, feel that upper body. When your upper body doesn't fatigue, you know what else doesn't fatigue? Your lower body and your legs, because you're not having to hold everything up. You're able to hold it with your core. You're able to use that solid platform to pedal from. So you want to keep it there. Questions, guys? Nope.
This
All
is
right.
good stuff.
Thank you, everybody. And let's go ahead and have fun. Hopefully we'll get to see you guys out on the trail again soon.
See you tomorrow. Let's see. We're gonna share recording.